Hey, it's Brian from WinterGardenYoga, and we had a special request for a follow-along video for plantar fasciitis. So let's follow along together with a treatment that may help you. You're going to need two things. One, a lacrosse ball. And this is just a regular old lacrosse ball. You can get it on Amazon.com or at any sporting goods store. Second thing you're going to need, a timer, because we're going to spend about 2 minutes on each foot for the first exercise, then 2 minutes on each foot on the second exercise. So grab your lacrosse ball, grab your timer, and let's get to it. For the first exercise, I've just got the lacrosse ball under my foot. I'm going to set the timer, and we're going to spend 2 minutes together just going over the sole of your foot. Just back and forth, just easy. I am not trying to create pain, but I'm looking for pain. Kelly Starrett says, if it feels sketchy, it's sketchy. So that means I may come across a knot or a trigger point or just, so right here in the arch of my foot, for me today, right now, I feel a little sketchiness, so to speak. So I'm going to spend a little extra time right here. Breathe through it until it feels a little less sketchy, and then just keep moving back and forth on the sole of my foot. I'm going to do this for about a minute. Good. So now, the second minute, I'm going to keep my heel on the ground, and I'm going to roll the ball of my foot side to side over the lacrosse ball. So this is helping to mobilize I don't know if you can see, maybe you can see, I'm trying to look and see each one of my toe knuckles articulate as I roll from side to side. And that's just kind of helping to mobilize the soft tissue in my entire foot. And there's also a little bit of what they call shearing on my heel bone. So my heel is getting some soft tissue release as well. Good. So now we go to the other foot. Same thing. I'm going to spend about a minute here going back and forth on the sole of my foot. If it feels like you need to treat your feet longer, pause the video at any time and just hang out a little bit more on your feet. Hopefully you notice the technique. My feet are more or less under my hip. I'm not chasing the ball up and down and around. It pretty much stays under me the whole time. So do your best to just try to keep control of the lacrosse ball. My right foot compared to my left foot feels pretty good. But even though it feels pretty good, I'm not finding any hot spots or I'm not finding any sketchiness. This is still beneficial because it's helping to keep my soft tissues mobile. Okay, so let's switch to our heel now. Let's not put the heel on the ground. I'm just going to roll side to side. Just trying to mobilize my forefoot a little bit. My feet are in pretty good shape today, but there are times when I definitely will feel sticky, sometimes around the big toe, or I'll feel a little sketchy, and I'll pause, squeeze my toes, relax my toes, squeeze, relax, until I feel the stiffness back off a little bit. Just about 10 more seconds. Good. So take a minute after you finish that, after you finish using the lacrosse ball, take a minute to see how your feet feel compared to when you started the exercises. Let's go to exercise number 2. Great. So the second set of exercises, just find a comfortable way to sit. I'm sitting cross-legged on the ground, but you can be sitting on a couch or a chair. All we're trying to do is find a way that we can grab onto our foot. Okay? So I'm going to set the timer for 2 minutes. Or I should say I'm going to let it run to 2 minutes. This is my left foot. This is my right hand. So with my right hand, I'm just going to kind of grab onto my left foot. I'm going to make circles. Just like this. Just easy. I'm making circles. I'm going to pull. This is called plantar flexion. I'm going to pull my ankle into plantar flexion, roll, push my ankle into dorsiflexion. So here I'm extending my toes. Here I'm flexing my toes. And I'm rolling my ankle as I go through it. Go through the range of motion. Do you hear my clicking? That's just a childhood injury. The remnants, I should say, of a childhood injury from 40 years ago. It doesn't hurt, but I had a friend of mine say I should put a piece of duct tape on that. It would go the other way. So I'm just going this way, the other way, round and round, bending and flexing. Okay, that was the first minute. For the second minute, I'm going to take each finger and try to place it between each toe, like this. Just like that. And then repeat the process. Make a little fist, and then continue with the ankle circles. So here, I'm just creating space. I'm creating space between the toes, because a lot of times we wear shoes and socks and stuff, and our toes are just glued together like this. They become stiff and immobile, and this will just help loosen them up a little bit. Just easy, nothing should hurt. If it hurts, stop immediately. If you don't have a lot of range of motion right now, no problem. Just start where you are, work with what you've got, and just gradually, consistently improve as you go. Okay, that's about 2 minutes. So now we switch. Right foot, left hand. I'm just going to take my toes, I'm bending my toes one way, bending the toes the other way, rolling my ankle one way, might roll it back the other way. The goal is just to loosen up your ankle, to mobilize your toes, etc. I can't emphasize it enough. It should not hurt. If it hurts, stop immediately. If it feels really, really stiff and it's frustrating, just give yourself time. Also, be sure that you feel it more or less here. Don't let it move up into your knee. You shouldn't feel anything unpleasant anywhere. Okay, good. Last minute. Spread out your fingers, pop them in between your toes, and then continue with the ankle circles. Now, what if you can't get all of your fingers between all of your toes? Great question. Start with one finger between one set of toes, and then maybe two, and then maybe three. This may be a progression for you that it might take you months to get to this level. And that's okay. Just give yourself gentle, consistent practice. Make sure that this is beneficial. If it's not benefiting you, stop. Go see a doctor. Make sure you're breathing easily throughout the whole process. We're coming up at the end of our last minute. And that's it. Let me know if this helps you. Leave me a note in the comments below. Give it a try.